can see the slide? If can someone please answer to me? Boleh? Can you see the slide?
Can.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, once again, if you cannot access the Google Meet, okay, so you may share with your friend, okay, either it is through their laptops or their phones. But later, if I give out the Google form for attendance, make sure you fill up the form. Get the link from your friend. Okay, so here is your chapter 5, which is molecules of life. But before I will start the I will announce that their name. Okay, so the person later, okay, he or she can come and find me at the annex office, okay, at the office in annex building, and claim your prize lah. Okay, so please do so. Don't be shy. Just look for me. Okay, so based on your quiz for chapter 2, the person who managed to score the highest mark is Intan Zulaika Sulaiman. Okay, so where she get 100% correct for all the 7 questions, and her score was the highest. Okay, she get 6,930. Okay, that is her score. So Intan Zulaika Sulaiman. Okay, so later come and find me at the annex office after lecture, or later after your lab session or your tutorial session, you can straight away and look for me lah at annex. Okay, so please claim your prize. Okay, don't be shy. So that is about your post quiz. Now, under molecules of life 1, you will learn there are 3 parts. Okay, so there are actually 2 parts: molecules of life 1 for chapter 5 and molecules of life 2. That will be on chapter 6. So in chapter 5, you will learn about water, carbohydrates, and lipids. So in later at molecules of life 2, in your chapter 6, you will learn about protein and also nucleic acid. Now, okay, so just like your previous chapter, when you learn about this chapter, what you need to make sure you know. Okay, so make sure based on this chapter, for chapter 5, okay, for water part, you must be able to describe chemical properties, okay, of water and relate its physiological roles in organism, and also to describe their physical properties. Okay, chemical properties is their bond angles and so on. Okay, their bonding, okay, what hold the water molecules together and so on. Okay, that is for the water. And now it's for carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, you must make sure you can classify the carbohydrates. What is used to classify the carbohydrates either into monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. Okay, each of them have their own chemical structure and their properties. And then you must, under monosaccharide, you can classify them further. So dalam monosaccharide, inside monosaccharide, we will learn how to classify monosaccharide into a few groups. Okay, and then you must also know how to differentiate and describe between reducing and non-reducing sugar. And all these carbohydrates, you must be able to relate the structure of polysaccharides to their function in living organism. Okay, so that is the carbohydrate part. Then next is the lipid. Okay, so under lipid, you must, same also like previously, you must be able to describe structure and properties. Okay, structure and properties, you must be able to explain for all 3. Okay, water, carbohydrates, and lipids. So under lipid, later we will see there are fats or triglycerides, we call it, phospholipids and steroids, and also you must be able to state the function for each of them. And there are even, you must be able to differentiate between saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, what is saturated and unsaturated fatty acids? So we will see and we'll discuss about them later. Now, in molecules of life, or we say it in life sciences, okay, in what you have learned. So there are many different elements. They can be carbon, they can be oxygen, okay, they can be hydrogen. So if you combine all these elements together, you can get a compound. And this compound can either be, we call it organic or inorganic. Okay, so the difference between organic and inorganic compound is, for organic compound, their structure mainly consists of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, so inorganic compound, they have a lot of C and H in their structure, carbon and hydrogen. Okay, so you have organic and inorganic. So in living system, or even inside your cell, there are four major types of organic compound that we will learn today. Okay, either they are proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acid. And the one that we will also learn today is water. But water is not considered as organic compounds because they don't have C and H in their structure, so they are inorganic. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Okay, so next, the molecules of life, okay, the one that I mentioned just now, they can be differ in terms of their 3D structure and also their function. And how they are different in terms of structure is that it is for most organic compounds, okay, they can be different in terms of their carbon backbone, okay, and also they can be, other than the C and H, they can also be different type of functional groups attached to their structure. Okay, so these functional groups, example of functional groups, we will see later. Okay, so like I mentioned just now, organic compounds, primarily their structure consists of carbon and hydrogen, so C and H. So any organic molecules that consists of mainly C and H, or we call them, their structure are rich in C and H, okay, they are what we call as hydrocarbons. And for example, fats, okay, in the structure of fats, they are mainly consist of only carbon and hydrogen. So meaning here is that the structure for fats, they mostly have carbon and hydrogen, so we call them as hydrocarbon. Now, for these organic compounds, okay, most organic compounds, they consist or they have carbon inside the structure. Now, what is so special about this carbon is, carbon mainly has 4 valence electrons. Okay, valence electrons are the electrons at the outermost shell. Okay, so they have 1, 2, 3, 4. So with these 4, okay, they can form covalent bonds with any other atoms, or they can form bonding by sharing electrons. So when they share electrons with any other atoms, we call that the bond that they form is covalent bond. Okay, if they share electrons with any atoms, they are forming covalent bonds. And this formation of bonds through sharing of electrons allow them to make complex molecules or large molecules. Okay, so in these organic molecules, like I mentioned, they also have functional groups attached to them. And the functional groups are the one that is responsible to, ataupun we call them, are the one that involved in chemical reaction. Okay, so we will see and take a look at a few chemical reaction. Now, First, I'm sure all of you probably are maybe a pro in this, okay, compared to me. You have learned them in your chemistry. Okay, so just refresh, we go through. So you have hydroxyl, the one with OH, okay, and any molecules with OH in them, with the functional group of OH, we call those compounds as alcohol. Okay, so OH is the functional group. Another one is carbonyl. So mainly we will learn about C double bond O here. Okay, we will discuss this later. Okay, we will maybe discuss a lot of for carbonyl. So someone is entering, I think. So give me some time to let them enter. Okay, Farwiza, okay. Okay, safely enter the lecture. So I will proceed back. Start back. Okay, so carbonyl here is another example of functional group, and they are C double bond O. Okay, so here you have two types of compound. There are two groups of compound with carbonyl group. This compound with carbonyl, C double bond O, either you can classify them under the group of ketones or aldehydes. So the difference is that if the C double bond O is on the first, or we call it at the end of the carbon skeleton, those compounds we call them as aldehyde. And if the C double bond O is within this carbon skeleton, not on the first or on the end, but within, normally at the second carbon, okay, we call these compounds as ketones. Okay, ketones. So these two, we will maybe discuss this in deeper, and this is very important for you to understand first, because we'll discuss them in carbohydrates later. So remember first, if they have the carbonyl group at the end or at the first carbon, we call them as aldehyde. If it is on the second carbon or within the carbon skeleton, they are ketones. Okay, other than that, carboxyl, okay, C double bond O, OH. Okay, of course, the name of the compounds with this functional group are called as carboxylic acid. Now, there are also amines with the amino group attached to them. There are also thiols with SH. Okay, this SH is mainly can be found in proteins. And then phosphate, okay, organic phosphate, and methyl, CH3. Okay. So this functional group can be added to DNA. So all these are examples of functional group that can attach to organic compound. And these functional groups are the one that involved in chemical reaction. Okay, so like I mentioned, the four classes of large biological molecules or the organic compounds that you can normally find inside the cell or living organisms are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Okay, organic compounds are the one with the C and H in their structure. Now, so how these organic compounds are made of? Okay, most of them are macromolecules, in which they are being made from small organic molecules. Organic molecules are joined together to form the macromolecules. Okay, some of these macromolecules, or most of the macromolecules, they are polymer. Okay, macromolecules are mostly polymer, except for one, which I will tell you later. Okay, what